As his auburn hair and copper shirt ebb and flow in the brisk winds, Hakon, a fierce warrior, shares a mug of mead with Ubin, an aging historian, both recollecting the conflict they just created. These giants, known as Val, towered over their opponents with their physical presence and oversized weapons, taking great pride in spilling human blood over the nearby tavern floor. It was never a contest really, their experience in battle and overbearing size was too great, and yet, both reveal vulnerabilities in their personality during the brief exchange, which suggests that next time they may not get off so lucky. This is just one of the many conversations you'll have in the Banner Saga, a turn-based tactical tale that takes many twists and turns along the way. The narrative is told from multiple perspectives, both human and Val. Each action has a consequence, and every conversation could lead you down a darker, more dangerous path. In this game, you'll need to get used to being on the move a lot, and when you're not on the move, you're fighting, and when you're not fighting, you're talking. The pace is unrelenting, even when it feels like your characters are resting or training or taking a few moments to slow the plot down. This is because seemingly simple events, like the delivery of goods or the sharing of ale, could be interfered with or escalate out of control. The road is an extremely perilous place for you and your clansmen, and that's as much to do with having limited supplies as it is running into the dredge, the game's nomadic, sentinel-like beings, intent on war and destruction. Dangers must be faced, however, and the march is an essential part of the experience, waving the colour of your banner prominently and proudly as you move to your next destination, spreading both hope and fear as you go. To break up the grind on the road, you'll need to move between camps, then take the time to manage your caravan, whether it's purchasing further supplies, recruiting new allies, establishing trade routes, or simply training for the hardships that lie ahead. You can also upgrade your allies and equip items to them, such as better weapons or armour. Being at a camp will also improve your caravan's morale if you take an appropriate amount of time to rest. There's no sense in rushing ahead, as the lower the morale of your men, the less inclined they are to fight for you, and the more likely they are to start causing disruptions or problems for you down the road. However, the more time you take to rest, the more supplies you use up. As always, everything in the Banner Saga needs to be carefully considered. The game is one large balancing act. Battles are turn-based, but where humans just take up one tile on the board, the Val take up four. As you might expect, this can have huge tactical implications for you, both when setting your pieces pre-battle and also when charging headfirst into the fray. When you defeat an enemy, you earn renown on the battlefield, and when enough renown has been accumulated, the characters then get to promote their rank and learn new abilities. And once promoted, you earn points which can then be spent on strength, armour and other special abilities. Turns alternate in battle, which I find a fairer and more realistic system rather than having to wait for an entire mob to get their licks in before you can do anything about it. The aim is to bring your opponent's strength down to 0, but to do this you will often need to penetrate thick armour which will deflect many of the attacks. Of course, you could choose to ignore their strength and just reduce their armour to nothing, making your attacks all the more lethal. But again, it's a balancing act, as you could be leaving yourself vulnerable to these punishing attacks. While the bulk of the game is made up of turn-based warfare, where the Banner Saga perhaps most fascinating is in placing key descriptions about the characters in the text, rather than using the game's striking art style. You'll often read about a character's contempt or excitement for something, yet their face will remain in a fixed emotionless state. Where others may see this as a flaw and limited use of a gorgeous engine, words can articulate someone's innermost thinking much more appropriately as opposed to a simple sneer or a smirk. But what's different on PlayStation 4? Not a great deal. The game was ported perfectly to PlayStation 4 with no slowdown or major hiccups, and has even made good use of some of the DualShock 4 functionality. During conversation and marching sequences, you can swipe along the touchpad and look at the screen in full, seeing characters that may have been hidden behind others, but also small details in the background. The right analog stick can also be used for this purpose. You can also zoom in and out at any point using the shoulder buttons, whether you're in the middle of a battle or just want to admire the magnificent art style in close-up. Everything maps wonderfully to the DualShock 4, and that's on top of the usual PS4 functionality such as remote play, share play, and the ease of streaming. But we already know that Banner Saga 2 is deep in development, despite King's best efforts, and it's likely to reduce as soon as this year. We also know that the Vita port of the Banner Saga is definitely happening, and that the Banner Saga Warbands board game has recently got funded on Kickstarter. In terms of patches and DLC, we didn't encounter any issues during our playthrough to warrant any urgent fixes, and likewise with the amount of work Stoic is going on right now, I'd be very surprised if we saw any additional DLC for the game around. The good stuff, it's beautiful, eye-catching, hand-drawn graphics remain timeless and memorable, there's an elegant score which really captures the essence of this universe, it's well-balanced, thought-out gameplay, and there's excellent narrative development for the characters. Unfortunately, some might find this a bit repetitive with a limited variety. But overall, we really enjoyed our time with this. There's nothing like the Banner Saga on your current gen console right now. It's striking, heartfelt, engrossing and timeless. A relevant and captivating experience that will leave a lasting impression. Thanks for watching.